Howdy, Immortallium here, and just before I start this haul, there's just a couple of things I need to mention quickly. First thing is that I'll be starting out with my manga, showing off what I've picked up manga-wise, but I'm going to leave certain titles until the end of the video. The reason for that is I'll be doing the 24-hour manga marathon soon, and, just so that people might want to, keep it a surprise what titles I'm going to be reading in that. I'm going to be leaving those titles until the very end of the video, so I'll point out, okay, so I'm about to show the manga marathon titles, and you can decide to stop watching or, to keep going. The other two things I need to mention, one is that basically, even though I say Christmas haul, there's actually like a bunch of stuff that I've also picked up over the past few months. The vast majority of it is stuff I picked up for Christmas, but there are a couple of things in here that I picked up, a month or two ago. So I'll point out these titles when, I get around to them. And the other thing I just want to point out as well is that when it comes to, TV series, I picked up 15 boxes for Christmas, DVDs and Blu-rays, but only 3 of them are anime. Even so, I'm going to show off the other titles. If you're not interested in them because they're not anime, that's fair enough, you can skip ahead in the video. So yeah, let's get started quickly. So first off, I'm going to show off something that I actually bought from a friend, and he's been asking me to show it off in a video as well, and that is the first 3 volumes of Nisekoi. Basically, you might know a guy called BDT87. Basically, he had picked up the first 3 volumes of Nisekoi. He wasn't too into it, so he's looking to sell them off. I want to give it a go at some point. I like the art. The premise sounds, kind of cliche, but the thing I've heard about this series in particular is that even if the premise isn't particularly original, it's executed well. So I'll give the first 3 volumes a go, see what I think. If I don't like it, I won't continue it. That's as simple as that. So that's going to be how that goes. After that, I guess I best show off perhaps the biggest thing. Actually, I shouldn't even say perhaps. This is easily the biggest thing I picked up. And I did pick this up for Christmas, just to tell you. And that is the Claymore box set. This contains the entire Claymore series. All 27 volumes. It also includes an art book. I'll just show you what it looks like on the inside. I don't think I did that. I showed this off a bit on Twitter, but I don't think I actually show it off the inside. So this is what it looks like. You have Claire's nice looking face over there. And the booklet that comes with it, the extra, is this. Now, the thing that's kind of funny about this is that according to this is a series of images that were never released in any English language publication. They were on the cases of the Japanese editions of the Claymore graphic novels. But something that surprises me about it is that there's a lot of nudity in it, which I'm not sure if they're like specifically the what are they called? Not the Yomi, are they? Are they called Yomi? Yoma. Sorry. The Yoma. They must be Yoma, because I remember specifically hearing, seeing in the anime of Claymore, that female Claymores are very unappealing sexually. So it doesn't really make sense to me to sexualize Claymores. It just wouldn't make sense. So, I'm not sure. I was surprised by the amount of nudity in those illustrations. But, they're nice to have. They're pretty nice looking artistically. And I'm looking forward to trying out Claymore at some point. It'll be quite a commitment when I get to it, because it's 27 volumes and I'll probably just read them straight through. Not at once, of course. The other thing I guess I should point out is that I have the first 2 volumes already. I'll be giving those to a friend for Christmas. So that's what I'm going to be doing. No giveaways, I'm very sorry. After that, we have another very interesting little pickup. I found this for cheap in a charity shop. And that is the first volume of Vampire Knight in Japanese, which is pretty nice. I'm not the biggest fan of Vampire Knight now. I used to be quite into it because of the artwork. Actually, I have the first, I think, 6 or 7 volumes of it. But the story, and characters just didn't really interest me after a while. And even, I still admire the artwork. I think the artwork's fantastic. After a while, I just decided to drop it. But still, I'm learning Japanese currently, and so I think that once I get around to informal Japanese, basically what I'm learning right now is formal Japanese, how to speak formally, but that isn't how most people talk, they talk informally. And so once I get around to learning some informal Japanese, I'll be able to start trying to read this. Anyway, so that's for like 50 cents, which is what I got it for. Well worth it, I think. After that, I believe the rest of this is all Christmas stuff. Just give me 1 sec to just confirm that. Oh, actually no. There's one thing that isn't a Christmas thing, so I better point this out quick. My family was ordering from Amazon, and they needed something to, you know, push it up into that free Super Saver delivery. So they asked me, do you want to pick up anything? And I was like looking through my wish list and saying, you know, I can wait. And then I saw one, I was like, yeah, I probably should pick that up. And that is the first Oh My Goddess Omnibus. I'm fairly sure I haven't shown this in a haul. If I did, I'm sorry, I don't remember it. But anyway, Oh My Goddess, it's something that I've been hearing for absolute ages. It's a classic. Harem though, from what I hear, which usually I'm not too keen on harems, but this is a classic, so I'm sure that it executes it rather well. So I'll give it a go. It's a really nice release, I have to say. The paper quality is strong. Everything that was ever released in color in Japan is released in color here, which is absolutely fantastic. And of course it's in a bigger trim size, bigger than what Dark Horse would have been releasing it previously. So I'll give it a go and see what I think of it. One thing that did surprise me though is that I'm used to the art style of the new Oh My Goddess series. I haven't watched it, but I've just seen like all the promotional artwork. So the actual art for the inside, which is rather different, surprised me. After a while it does grow on you. I haven't read this, just flicking through it. After a while I did get used to it. It's just, if you're used to the new Oh My Goddess art style, yeah, you're going to be in for a shock with this first release. Okay, so the rest of the manga here is all stuff I picked up for Christmas. First up, what I am actually currently reading is Ranma Half. I picked up the next two 2-in-1 omnibuses, because, you know, I like to do that each time I order. Really funny series, as I pointed out probably 1,000,000 times at this point. I was reading through the first half of this, and I was laughing. I was like, there was actually a good few like hard laughs there, like a guffaw, which was great because recently I haven't been finding too many laughs in life. So you know, I really needed to be able to read this and just, you know, have a good hard laugh. Yeah, so I'm very happy with Ranma Half. At this, I'm up to 20 now. I believe there's 38 in total. So I'm still a far way off from finishing it. A lot of people do say that the last third is weak. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I think it's still as funny as ever. So I'll just have to see how it goes. After that, I picked up the next three, which would be up to the penultimate, releases of Gundam Origin. So this goes all the way up to 11. There will be 12 in total. I'm not actually going to read these until I pick up 12, to be honest. And even then, I was thinking to myself, it's been so long since I've read the first one. I remember reading the first one, was it back in 2013? Was that how long ago it was? So what I want to do is I want to like just read it, you know, start again, like start from volume 1 and read through Gundam Origin again, just to, you know, so that certain details are fresh in my mind. But as I've always said, Gundam Origin is a fantastic series. I've never seen the original. I know there are a lot of differences between this and the original. Most people would say for the better. Some people say for the worse. I'm not sure, but I absolutely love the art, the characters, you know, pretty much everything about this. This is one of my favorite shonens. So yeah, very happy with that. And of course, a beautiful release from Vertical. After that, I'm picking up the next two omnibuses. Well, I picked up, I should say, the next two omnibuses of Lone Wolf and Cub. This goes up to, well, this omnibus 10, I should say. And I believe that Dark Horse is going to go up to 12 omnibuses. So I only have 2 left after this. It's been a hell of a journey, Lone Wolf and Cub. I absolutely adore Lone Wolf and Cub. I remember at the very beginning I wasn't too keen on Lone Wolf and Cub. I did like it, but I wasn't too keen on it because of the fact that it was different from what I was expecting. It wasn't as serialized as I was expecting. It was more episodic. But as time grew on, I just absolutely came to love the series. So I'm really looking forward to finishing this off. And then I'm interested to see if Shin Lone Wolf and Cub, you know, new Lone Wolf and Cub, is actually any good. It might be, it might not be. I've heard good things about it, so I'm hoping it's as good. Anyway, after that, we got, well, this is probably one of the guilty purchases that I've done. Not that I regret it, just that I say no one would be, calling this fine art or fine manga. And that is the Tiger and Bunny comic anthology. Basically, what the comic anthology is... Well, first of all, I should say, I'm a fan of Tiger and Bunny. I absolutely love the TV series. I haven't seen any of the movies. The movies have been a bit pricey, so I'm waiting to see if I can get them for a pretty good price. But anyway, absolutely love the TV series. And I'm really waiting for a sequel to the TV series. I recently did a poll in Japan in which Tiger and Bunny was named the #1 series that people wanted to see a sequel to. And I'd be there. Of all the anime I've ever seen, I want a sequel to Tiger and Bunny more than anything else. And that isn't because I love Tiger and Bunny more than anything else. There's a good few series that I like more than Tiger and Bunny. The problem is Tiger and Bunny ended on a cliffhanger, essentially. It wasn't like a in-your-face cliffhanger. It was just a case of this is way bigger than anything you expected it to be. So I think that's a big contributing factor to why people want to see more Tiger and Bunny, because of the fact that we need to see, this what they revealed at the last 5 seconds of the last episode. So anyway, what Tiger and Bunny comic anthology is it's a bunch of different comic artists, well, manga artists, I should say, mangaka, and short stories. The short stories tend to be very short, maybe about 4 to 6 pages. And it's pretty much slice of life, essentially, of the characters. That means pretty much that this isn't going to be as good as the TV series, with its revelations, its emotional drama, etc., etc. I'm sure there's a few emotional moments littered through this, but from what I've heard, it's played much more for comedy, more than anything else. So I just wanted to pick this up as a Tiger and Bunny fan, and just give it a go, see what I think. I know, I'm not expecting it to be as good as the actual TV series. I just want a bit more Tiger and Bunny in my life. As I'm sure we all do. After that, then this is the last of the kind of book pickups, excluding the ones I picked up for the Manga Marathon. When I say book pickups, this isn't a manga, this is a light novel. And this is actually the 3rd Vampire Hunter D light novel. And what's very interesting about this in particular is that this is the book that was adapted into the 2nd Vampire Hunter D movie, Bloodlust, which I absolutely adore. In regards to my experience with Vampire Hunter D, my very first experience was that movie, Bloodlust, and I absolutely adored it. I read the first novel, which the first movie is based off of, and loved it. I think that novel is fantastic. I saw the movie then, the first movie, and the problem is maybe I should have seen that before reading that first novel, because when I was watching it, all I could think of is they cut out that awesome scene, they cut out that awesome scene. You know how you are when you read a novel and then you see it adapted. You're constantly thinking to yourself, they cut out that thing and that thing. Anyway, so I read the second as well. The second was really good. Not as good as the first, I thought, but I thought it was still really good. So I'm wondering what I'll think of this one, because I love the movie so much. And I hear that there's still obviously a lot of similarities. But I hear that the movie had a lot of changes from the novel, so I'm curious to see if I end up preferring the novel or if I'm just going to stick to preferring the movie. I don't know. But either way, I want to read this anyway. Plus, absolutely, you have to love these covers, these Yoshitaka Amano covers. They just make me think of Final Fantasy so much because of the fact that, he was the title logo designer. So anyway, that's all of the actual books that I picked up, besides the, of course, Manga Marathon things, which I'll do at the end of the video. So on to the TV shows next. Now, as I said before, only 3 of these 15 pickups are actually anime. I'll start off with those first. If you're not interested in, the other ones, you can just skip ahead. So the first thing I picked up, which this is really interesting now, because I wasn't actually aware that this series existed until about a month ago. And that is Super Dimension Century Orguss. Now, I listened to the ANN cast, and I was listening to one about a month ago, as I said, with this guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was the founder of US Renditions, which was this anime company, anime dubbing and release company, back in the 80s to 90s, I believe. And he was talking specifically... Well, he was talking about a lot of series, I should say, but the main series that he was talking about was actually this. because apparently they only got to dub 17 of the 35 episodes of this, which he regretted. He wrote the ADR scripts for all of them, apparently, so if they ever wanted to finish off the dub, they would actually have all the scripts there to be able to do. And, you know, he was saying maybe someone will pick it up in the future and all that. It sounded very interesting, so I was looking it up on Amazon. I was like, I wonder if anyone has re-released it. And I found Discotheque had. Now, the thing is, Discotheque didn't finish the English dub, but they do include it as an extra, essentially. So, the English dub is present for the first 17 episodes, but then you have to watch 18 to 35 in Japanese. So I'm just going to watch the Japanese all the way through. But one thing I realized the other day as well is that I haven't seen that many 1980s anime, TV series I should say. So that's definitely something I want to expand on, as well as the fact that this just sounds very interesting. So that's why I picked up that. After this is one that's very recent actually. I believe this was created in the past 4 years. But it's one that I've been intensely interested in checking out. And I know this, I should have been able to see it beforehand, before this pickup. I'll explain that in a moment. And that is Psycho-Pass. Now, Psycho-Pass I've been interested in seeing for an absolute ages. First of all, I highly respect Gen Urobuchi, the writer of Madoka Magica, and he wrote the script for this, which is, you know, I'm really interested. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen that much of Gen Urobuchi besides Puella Magi Madoka Magica. He did the novels of Fate Zero, which, you know, the Fate Zero anime was based off of. He did, what's that one, Gargantua on the Virtuous Planet. He did, what's that one, the mecha one? Alnoa something. I'm not sure. But anyway, he's done a lot of anime series that I haven't actually watched them. So this is possibly the first anime series from him I've seen after Puella Magi Madoka Magica. So I'm very interested in checking this out. I really like the sound of the premise. And it's animated by Production IG, the ones who did Ghost in the Shell. It seems to have a very Ghost in the Shell vibe, this. But there's a lot of people who say that this tries to be Ghost in the Shell and doesn't quite reach it. That sounds fine with me. I'll give it a go. I'll see what I think. There just isn't that many shows made in anime recently that seem like Ghost in the Shell. So even if something tries to be Ghost in the Shell but fails to reach it, I'm still interested in checking it out and seeing what I think. Now, the thing I was explaining before is I actually have a Netflix subscription, and this is on Netflix. So, of course, you know, there were a lot of people, when I was mentioning, oh, I'm interested in Psycho-Pass, people were saying to me, well, you could watch it on Netflix. The reason I didn't watch it on Netflix is because Netflix is very compressed, and usually that's fine, you know, particularly in bright scenes, but Psycho-Pass is a dark series, so the compression of the blacks in particular would make the series look rather ugly, so I just decided I'll wait until I pick up the Blu-ray. It'll look much better, and it'll be a much more pleasant experience. So that's my explanation for that. After that, the last anime I picked up is actually one that I've been interested in for a very long time. It's called Rahxephon. And I remember being very excited when 101 Anime, I guess their proper name is 101 Films, re-released it in the UK. I'd heard lots of good things about this series, but I didn't pick it up for a long time for some reason. But I just thought to myself recently, I better pick it up. Now, I don't know much about the premise, because I've been trying to avoid spoilers, because a lot of people say that this is one of those series that you really should not know too much about. What I do know about it is that a lot of people accuse it of being a rip-off of Neon Genesis Evangelion. But there's a lot of fans, apparently, of Rahxephon who they acknowledge the fact that it's, at the very least, very heavily based off of Neon Genesis Evangelion, but still will say, you know, I prefer it to Neon Genesis Evangelion. And there's actually a lot of, like, well-respected anime critics and everything that prefer it to Neon Genesis Evangelion. So that's definitely grabbed my attention. And plus, of course, it's animated by Studio Bones, who I adore their animation in general. Not to say that everything they do is fantastic. I just watched, was it Toa no Kwan recently, which they animated. I wasn't impressed with that series. I like the animation of it, but beyond that. Anyway, I'm looking forward to checking this out. This is one that I've been looking to watch for a very long time. Anyway, so that's all my anime. Now, if you want to, you know, just skip ahead to the manga marathon ones, you can skip ahead. But I'm just going to go through the rest of the stuff I picked up. So I picked up the last season, and this is one I've been waiting for ages, is Legend of Korra, Book 4. Now, basically, a few years ago, okay, you know what, I'll go back to the beginning. Very first time I ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, which this is a sequel to, was when I was doing my Leaving Cert. My Leaving Cert being what one does at the very end of secondary school. And I watched it, I really enjoyed it. I wasn't as in love with the first season as most other people are. My favourite was the second season, the Book 2, Earth. Really loved that season. I really enjoyed that series overall, and when I heard it was getting a sequel, I was thinking to myself, yes, you know, that's really cool. So I watched the first season on Nickelodeon when it came out in the UK, which was a year after its US release, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. But then it didn't get any more broadcasts here for some reason. Yeah, like, I guess the first season didn't do well over here. You know, if anyone's followed, you know, Legend of Korra and how it did commercially, it's very weird. The first season did really, really well in America, and then it got so bad by season 3 they just stopped airing it on television and moved it onto their online service, which apparently was doing amazingly for that. Basically, what I've been waiting for is, I already had the first 3 books, but I wasn't watching any of them because I wanted to get the last one and be able to watch it straight through, which is what I'm doing now. I've watched the first one again. I watched Book 2 for the first time, which I really liked. I thought it was even better than the first season. I've just started Book 3, which really promising first 2 episodes. Really interesting. So I'm looking forward to just finishing everything off. Not only that, I've heard about the very end of this season, and it's quite a surprise. It's you know, I was kind of wondering to myself, how did like, I mean, if I keep in mind I'd only seen the first season, so the very end of the first season is completely at odds the very end of that whole series. So I was thinking, how did it get from there to there? So I was really interested in checking that out. I'm really enjoying Legend of Korra. It definitely gets a thumbs up from me. Anyway, after that, this is a series that I've always been a huge fan of, and I just wanted to finish it off. That is Futurama. The first 4 seasons, as I'm sure everyone will, you know, confess to, absolutely amazing of Futurama. The movies, I really liked movie number 3. The first 2 wasn't bad. They were definitely enjoyable. The 4th movie I wasn't that keen on, to be honest. Green Yonder, I believe the name was. But then the actual TV series came back, and I think it's really good still in general. There was a few episodes that I wasn't keen on. In particular, I thought that Christmas episode they did, the one with the 3 stories, was particularly uninteresting and unfunny. But there's still some really good episodes in those. So I'm really looking forward to, you know, checking out the rest of Futurama and just, you know, enjoying it for what it is, because it is a really, really funny, smart series. After that, I finished, Star Wars The Clone Wars in the past year. When I say finished it, I haven't watched the last episodes, which again I believe are on Netflix, simply because I don't have an interest in seeing story arcs open up and then not get finished. So when I say I finished it, I finished the last proper season, which was season 5. So I picked up, for a decent price, Rebels, Star Wars Rebels. And from what I've heard about it, what people tend to say about it is that it's not as good as what Clone Wars became later, but it's better than the first season of Clone Wars, which, you know, first season of Clone Wars was good, but there are a lot of really, like, awkward episodes. You know, they were still trying to find their footing, you know, and the style of the series. So I'm looking forward to checking out Rebels and seeing what I think of it. It looks nice from what I've seen, like all the screenshots. Although people tend to say it seems like it's cheaper looking, apparently, in terms of animation than Clone Wars. I'm not sure what that'll be like. But anyway, I'm looking forward to checking it out. After that, this is one, I've actually seen most of these episodes on television, but they're so funny, I just wanted to rewatch them again. And that was Beavis and Butt-Head. I've seen the original series of Beavis and Butt-Head. When I say seen the original series, I haven't seen all of the episodes. The collections that they released are missing about 80 episodes of the whole series. I think that's to do with legal issues. Beavis and Butt-Head was released very weirdly, particularly near the beginning. So I'm not exactly sure what the story is behind that. But anyway, I saw the original series, and I found it very enjoyable overall. The movie I really like. I think the best thing that's ever come out of the Beavis and Butt-Head series is the movie. The movie I think is absolutely fantastic. But when I heard that the series was coming back in I believe it was 2011, 2012. I was like, oh, I really want to check this out. So I recorded on Sky. I watched them as they came out, and they were really funny and intelligent. I know, Beavis and Butt-Head being intelligent. Nah, I thought they were absolutely hilarious. I'm sure I missed a couple of episodes, but that's why I picked up this box set, because I want to see those. Really, really funny series. I highly recommend if you haven't watched the new series of Beavis and Butt-Head simply because you're kind of wondering, can it hold up to the original? I would say yes, it holds up really well. It's like they were never gone. I just highly recommend it. After that, this is something I've been meaning to continue on for a while now. This is something that I picked up season 8 of it a long time ago. But I didn't make any progress on it, and it's one that I've been meaning to, and that is South Park. I want to continue South Park on. I'll be skipping one of the seasons though, because possibly importing the American copy of it, because it's missing. Is it season 13? They're missing like 200 and 201. Really, really do enjoy South Park. Really funny series. And there's a good few episodes I haven't seen on these. I used to watch a good few of them on television, but television always airs them out of order. So, I'm looking at the back of these with the list of names of the episodes. And, I can recognize half of them, and then half of them I haven't seen. So I'm looking forward to checking these out. I'll have to see. But I've been meaning to get back into South Park, because I really do enjoy South Park. After this is something that I was particularly excited about. You guys might not know this, but the very first videos I ever did on my channel were King of the Hill reviews. Now, the thing is, I love King of the Hill. But for a very long time, there was no more DVD releases in the UK. I don't think it's sold well, either here or in America, oddly enough, despite it being relatively mainstream. So that's how that worked out. So I've been waiting for probably 6 or 7 years for, I don't know how long it's been. Has it been 6 or 7 years? I think 6 years. Or something like that. I've been waiting 6 years to see, a continuation of the DVD releases. I never doubted it would eventually be released, but I didn't know when. But recently, a company called Medium Rare in the UK decided to release the rest of King of the Hill. At the very least, they're releasing up to 9. I guess they're going to wait after that to see if seasons 6 to 9 actually sell well, before deciding to commit to seasons 10 to 13. But anyway, I picked up season 6. I wanted to pick up more, but because of all this other stuff I was ordering, I didn't actually have the money to be able to do that. So anyway, I wanted to pick up season 6 and just to watch King of the Hill, because it's been so long and I've been wanting to see more episodes. I've seen a few of the season 6 episodes on television, but most of them I haven't. So I'm really looking forward to getting back to King of the Hill. After that, I guess I'll just finish off with the animation, and then I'll talk about the only live-action TV series I picked up. Recently, I picked up the first season of SpongeBob, and by God, it was so funny. Most of it was. There was a couple of episodes that were, a bit childish, but in general, SpongeBob has a fantastic sense of humor. So I decided I'd pick up the rest of what is considered to be the great SpongeBob episodes. Seasons 2 and 3. What's nice as well is that I've seen pretty much all of these episodes. I used to rewatch them so much when I was a child. I just put them on in the background when I'm cooking food, and it makes me laugh and smile. SpongeBob. Anyway, that's the important thing. SpongeBob still goes on. They're still making new SpongeBob episodes, but a lot of them are pretty crap. I've seen a couple of them, and they're just so childish and unfunny these days. So, I know season 4 was a mixed season. Season 4 had some really good episodes, and season 4 had some pretty crap episodes. I honestly don't think I'll be picking up season 4 simply because of how mixed it is. That and the ones that I associate my childhood with so heavily are the first 3 seasons. So that's my plan with those. So as far as I'm concerned, I picked up all of SpongeBob. That, and I have the movie. I've had the movie for ages. Great movie. After that, this is the only live-action TV series that I picked up. And this is just to finish off, you know, a series that I've been picking up for a long, long time. And that's How I Met Your Mother. I've had seasons 1 to 7 for ages, and I really enjoy How I Met Your Mother. It's very funny. There's a lot of emotional moments in it. You know, I just think it's a very entertaining series. For a long time, I was put off from actually picking up season 8 because I'd heard bad things about the first half of the season. I hear that the first half of the season isn't particularly funny, isn't particularly well emotional, so that is a problem. But I was thinking to myself, I'm a fan of How I Met Your Mother, so even if the first half of the season is, you know, not that great, I can continue it on anyway. I hear the second half of the season is very funny, and then I honestly don't know what people think of season 9. I know a lot of people do like a lot of episodes in it, but there's a lot of people who hate the ending. But the point is, with these, I have all of How I Met Your Mother, and I'm just finishing it off, and, you know, I'll see what I think of it. So anyway, that's all of the stuff, excluding the Manga Marathon video. So for those of you who don't want to see what I'm actually going to be reading in the 24-hour Manga Marathon, you know, you can just, you know, stop this video right now. So for those of you who are, you know, about to leave, I should say to you, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and bye-bye. For the rest of you, here is what I'll be reading in the Manga Marathon. So, first up, I actually got this as one of my Kickstarters, and I'll be reading for the Tezuka category, and that is Alabaster. Now, the interesting thing about Alabaster, first of all, I've been interested in checking out Alabaster for a very, very long time, because this was written in Tezuka's darkest moment of his career. His animation company had just gone under. A lot of his series were not popular anymore. You know, people were looking for more darker, realistic manga, and he was just having a lot of trouble at the time. And he created Alabaster, and people say, like, this is, like, him at his low point in terms of, you know, his mood. Like, it's a very dark work. He incorporates a huge amount of very dark themes and dark characters. In fact, apparently a big controversy was that the character of Rock, who has been present in so many of his previous manga, and who has been generally a heroic character in his previous manga, apparently is a very dark, villainous character in this series, and who does, like, a tremendous amount of horrific things, which was very controversial at the time. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to checking out Alabaster. I've heard a lot of things about it. The other thing to point out about this is that this is the first of the Tezuka releases from Digital Manga that actually incorporates the higher quality paper. So as part of the Alabaster campaign, because there was a lot of people demanding that they increase the quality of their paper, they were like, okay, we're going to do that. It's going to be printed on whiter paper, smoother paper, etc., etc. And you can really see that here. Like, the paper is so much whiter. It wasn't that it wasn't white for the other releases, it was just that it had that tinge of grey, which kind of reduced the contrast. But this is, like, definitely, like, the best quality of pages that I've come across for ages. So, you know, from an actual, like, how it's been released, I definitely recommend it. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know what the translation's like, or the actual story is like. But I'm really looking forward to checking this out during the Manga Marathon. After that, for a shonen that isn't about, you know, fighting, which is a pretty new category, and I thought that I should do one of the new categories. It's A Silent Voice, Volumes 1 and Volumes 2. So I've heard a lot about A Silent Voice. It's gained pretty much unanimous critical acclaim. I don't think I've heard pretty much anything about people being negative about this series. As far as I can tell, everyone who's read it seemed to love it. And it was actually chosen in Japan recently as one of the best manga to read as a child, not as a child, what I'm saying, as a teenager or young adult. That it was one of the best written, one of the most emotional, etc., etc. And it's only 7 volumes long. I was intending originally to wait for all 7 volumes to come out and then to, you know, buy them and read them, because it's only 7 volumes. But, I'll give the first 2 volumes a go. I'll see what I think about it. After that, for a manga before 1990, this is a very interesting one because when I started out collecting manga, well, I shouldn't say when I started out because it wasn't at the very beginning, it took a little while. But after a while, probably within the first year of picking up manga, I kind of established goals in my head. I would pick up as much Osamu Tezuka, as much Clamp, and as much Shiro Masamune as I could. For Osamu Tezuka, I'm doing really well. I picked up a ton of Osamu Tezuka. Clamp, mixed. I'm picking up a decent amount of Clamp, but certainly not as quickly as I was expecting to. But where I've been failing pretty much entirely is Shiro Masamune. Because all I picked up from him is Black Magic, which is his very first manga. In fact, it's doujinshi originally, apparently. But anyway, so I've been wanting to pick up another Shiro Masamune for a long time. A lot of them are going out of print, unfortunately, though. So it's making it a bit hard to get your hands on them. But I picked up Dominion, which I've heard plenty of good things about. I hear it's a significant improvement over Black Magic, which Black Magic... very awkward in terms of storytelling, I would say. Really nice artwork, some very interesting ideas, but very sloppy in execution. But I hear Dominion is a significant improvement over that, so I'll be interested in checking this out during the marathon and seeing what I think. I'm flicking through it, and the art looks fantastic. It looks so great. It looks really Shiro Masamune. So I'm really looking forward to checking this out and just expanding on my Shiro Masamune. I want to pick up Appleseed at some point, but a lot of the volumes are out of print, so that's how that goes. After that, for my Josei, this is one I wanted to read for a while, and this is called In Clothes Called Fat, from Mayoko Anno. Now, Mayoko Anno, for those of you who are unaware, she's actually married to Hideaki Anno, the guy who created Neon Genesis Evangelion. She's also a mangaka. I've read 2 works from her. I've read Sakuran, and I've read Insufficient Direction. Both of which I enjoyed, but both of which I wasn't in love with. Both I thought were plenty flawed, but very interesting works. Enjoyable, I should say. But I hear that In Clothes Called Fat is the best thing that has been released from her in English. Very dark work about, well, as you can guess, dieting. So I'm looking forward to checking it out and seeing what I think of it. It has a very kind of stylized look, something that I definitely associate with early Josei. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. And finally, basically I won't be explaining what my favorite one will be. I'll leave that as a surprise. But for manga, I have no interest in. Now, a lot of people, this is going to freak out a lot of people because a lot of people are in love with this series. And actually, in the past, I've said that, I'll check this series out at some point, I'm interested in it. But I've lost interest in checking it out recently. And that is Vinland Saga, Volume 1. Now, I know at this point, I can imagine a million people, not a million, I don't get that many viewers. I don't know, 10% of my viewers have just thrown up their arms in the air and going, how can you not be interested in that? I'm outraged. Well, this is my reason for it, and that is people have been trying to force me into reading Vinland Saga. It's one thing to be recommending, to people, oh, you should check this out, and leaving them to, decide on it. But particularly, this happened relatively recently. It was when Kodansha announced that Volumes 6 and 7, they'd be using the sales from that to determine whether they'll continue on the Vinland Saga releases in English. A ton of people on Twitter, all of a sudden, they were demanding of me and Adam, like Archangel Manga, and a bunch of other people, oh, you have to pick up the series, you have to. I was thinking, I don't have to do anything. I don't need to pick up Vinland Saga if I don't want to. Which, the irony is it drove me away from Vinland Saga. I would have picked the series up earlier if it wasn't for the fact that people were trying to force it down my throat. So that's why I lost interest in picking up Vinland Saga. Now, something that has kind of reassured me a bit is that Adam, who was saying, I don't need to pick up Vinland Saga if I don't want to, he's picked it up since then, and he's enjoying it. He says that it really hits its stride in number 4, So it does take a little while to get into. So I'm just going to be, reading this and seeing, if I even care about it at this point. I hope I'm going to try to leave my grudges against, everyone who's tried to force this series into me outside when I'm reading it. But that's my explanation for why I've lost interest in checking out Vinland Saga. Simply because everyone was trying to force me into reading it. And that's my explanation. So that's my, manga marathon choices. Clearly it isn't an enormous amount. I should probably be able to read all of them. Will I be able to read them in 12 hours, maybe? I'm not sure. I'll be reading other stuff then. I'll just pick random stuff, like stuff I want to reread, or stuff that, I've been reading, or something. I don't know what I'll do. I'll decide on the day. Yeah, those are my manga marathon choices, and preferably, this is just something I'm going to ask, could you please not mention them in the comments, if you do comment, simply because some people who might not want to know what they are might go through the comments anyway. So just don't mention these titles specifically in the comments. Just maybe hint at them, but don't actually say what they are or anything. Just so that you don't spoil people. So yeah, those are my pickups anyway. A ton of stuff to watch and to read. I'm really happy with all that I've picked up in general, and I'm looking forward to reading them. So I'd like to hear what you guys think about them. Is there anything there that you think are particularly interesting? Anything that you read that you think that you should mention, to me, or seen, I should say, read or seen, that you should mention to me, whether or not, just give me like a heads up on what you think, like your opinions, etc., etc. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and bye-bye.